Today, I have a wonderful, amazing expert next to me. Her name is Shelle Shapiro, and we're going to be doing for maybe a few months. It's going to be a few months. We're going to be doing a special edition of the Visibility Corner. When I met this wonderful queen, and I always call lady queens because I look at them as royalty, we just really gelled. Yeah, she knows. She already knows how to do the crown. I don't even tell her because she knows her crown is up there. But Shelle and I, we met through another wonderful queen, Lachelle, and she basically said, "Barbara, you need this lady on your show to interview her." And I'm like, "Yes, just because I'm always looking for people, especially the gurus in the world, the lighthouse people in the world." And she introduced me to this wonderful lady. We got a chance to talk. She was on the show Visibility Corner a few months ago. And then we started talking and say, wow, maybe we could do something together. So just a quick tip already. When you meet individuals and you know that you two have some things in common, you never know how that's going to come into something that can be together, that you combine together and really get the word out, really get that mission out that you're trying to do. I'm always talking about visibility and how important it is in any type of platform, be it social media, be it podcast, be it interviews. That's me. Well, this lady right here, she's the guru of LinkedIn. She's a speaker. I mean, I think she's an author too. You're an author too, lady, right?
Oh, yeah.
See, she's everything. She's like the triple dipple threat. So why wouldn't we get together and give you even more powerful? So with that, like I said, every month we're going to come. We're going to today we're going to talk about basically start off with LinkedIn because I know that's one of her gems. And I told her when we were talking, I said, yeah, let's start off with that because some people I feel like get it, but they don't get it when it comes to LinkedIn. So, Shell, I want you to kind of introduce some of the topics we're going to talk about today, and then we'll just get into a conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Barbara. So I'm Shelle Shapiro. I work with primarily wellness professionals to help them stand out on LinkedIn by showcasing their unique talents so that they can attract more aligned clients and speaking opportunities. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm limited to just wellness professionals. So if anybody here is like, that's not really me, but I do want to stand out more and increase my visibility on the platform, that's totally fine. Welcome. So what you may know is that LinkedIn is still a social media platform, right? And so um, it also offers a little bit of like a different avenue for people to come and not just be social, but to grow intentionally. And so I want to really talk about that a little bit more today. I'd also love to cover like the basics of how to stand out and show up on the platform. And then if we have time to cover it too, I'd love to dabble a little bit in what groups can do for you.
Yeah. Now, Shell, when we were talking about the different topics we wanted to start doing on the special edition, you did mention LinkedIn groups, and I'm going to have to say, I was a really novice at that. I was like, okay, there's LinkedIn. I didn't want to tell you that. I want to have to tell her because I wanted to talk about it. I said, I didn't know there was like LinkedIn groups. I know there's certain, organizations that you kind of hook up to if they want you to see your profile. I mean, I kind of dabbed in that, but I didn't know there was groups because I'm always thinking groups, Facebook. That's in my mind, right? So I'm glad you brought that up because that's another way of getting yourself out there. So I'm so glad that we're going to be talking. We're going to dip dab into that today, and then on another edition, we'll talk. Well, I know you're going to get more deep into that.
Yeah.
So going back to why LinkedIn? Why should somebody chime into LinkedIn?
Yeah, well, the difference between LinkedIn and other social media platforms is that everybody is on this platform for business reach. You're here to meet more people, to network, to generate more leads, to improve your engagement, to build brand awareness. And what other platform can you say does all of those things, right? So it's still social, it's still very personable and relatable, and you want to build that like, know, and trust, but it adds that other element of building your brand and your business for growth specifically. And that makes it a heck of a lot easier to show up and know what you want, especially when you are just so, I don't want to say like stuck on being social all the time, but like now you have a place where you can just like, all right, this is what I'm here for. Here are my goals. And you can leave some of the socialness behind. Um, I don't want you to eliminate it completely
Mm-hmm.
because yes, it is still social media at the end of the day, but you can focus more on those intentional things. You can run ads, you can be in groups, you can have live events, you can have a newsletter. There's so many different facets of it, and groups is just one of them. So we'll just scratch that itch a little bit today. But like, there's so many different things here for you to dabble in and figure out what works for you and your business. And that's what's so exciting. Like, yes, Facebook has groups, Facebook has lives, Facebook, you can run ads. You can do similar things with Instagram, a little bit on TikTok and Twitter, threads, but like nobody gives you this complete package the way LinkedIn does.
Mm-hmm.
And they're always adding more and more things here. And that doesn't mean, okay, I'm going to go here for a second. That doesn't mean you need to go down the rabbit hole like I'm so tempted to do right now of like shiny object syndrome. Like, what did LinkedIn just add? Where do I need to be? How do I need to use this? Like, will it work for me? You don't have to test and try everything right away
Mm-hmm.
because LinkedIn is a long game. It's not like I'm going to grow this massive amount in a short amount of time. And yes, that is possible. You're
Mm-hmm.
here to like plant seeds that will sustain and help you succeed over time.
Yes.
So yeah, and that's really like a huge difference between LinkedIn and other platforms.
Well, I liked how you separated that because the biggest thing that I always hear when I first started getting into LinkedIn a few years ago was, "Oh, Barbara, yeah, it's B to B, B to B, business to business," and I'm like, okay, and so I was like taking that and saying, okay, if I have a business, and at that time I didn't have a business, so I said, then why should I even be on there unless I have a corporate job and my profile's out there somewhere. That's what I was just thinking. But when I started getting into my own business and being an entrepreneur, I was like, now I need to relook at LinkedIn, and say, okay, I need to get on there because now I have my own business, and if I want to work with other businesses, this is probably the place to be. Now, from 9 years ago, yeah, I'm aging myself, to now, LinkedIn totally has so many, like you just said, Shell, so many other opportunities that you can do on LinkedIn. I mean, like you said, with the newsletter and everything, I mean, that alone, when they started putting that out, I was like, oh, that's cool. You can do your own, if you have a blog, that's what I was thinking. Now my visibility hat is on. If you're a blog, you could take what you already have, repurpose, another quick tip, and put it into a newsletter in LinkedIn. So now you have your blog maybe on a website, and you also now you got new newsletters going out in LinkedIn. So that's just an example of how LinkedIn has just, added so many different other things that you can do to make yourself brand awareness. People get to know who you are more. People get to know what you do. So I'm loving that part about LinkedIn.
Yeah, and newsletters specifically help build that consistency factor with your audience.
Mm,
Like if you're regularly posting, or even if you're not, it gives you a newsletter is like an umbrella. So if you're regularly posting content, videos, um, articles, even you can create a playlist, so to speak, of those things under your newsletter. And you can still push them out as regular posts and content, or you can have them live under that umbrella of the newsletter. And the great thing about that is you can designate whether or not you stick with it consistently, or add or fine tune as you go, because you can choose the timing of that newsletter to go out,
okay.
and you can set them ahead of time. So let's say right out the gate, you chose to have this newsletter come out every week.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of fall off a little bit. You go on vacation. It's hard to get back into it. We've all been there, right? We need to take some time off for ourselves, and the cadence changes. Well, you can go back in and change the cadence of your newsletter, but it still lives there as evergreen content for somebody to go back and see all of your things under that one umbrella.
Mm.
And then you can specifically invite your audience to follow that newsletter and get notified anytime an edition comes out on LinkedIn. Like, so a friend of mine pushed out her newsletter every Sunday evening.
Okay.
So as a subscriber of that every Sunday, I now get notified in my feed and by email that she's put out another weekly edition. And
Oh,
that satisfies her content for Sunday, but also I can always go back in then and I'm like, all right, I missed a few. Let's see what else she's done. Or maybe there's a way, and I haven't dabbled in newsletters myself yet. I'm playing around, but I'm not quite there yet. Maybe there's a way to like let people know what's coming up next at the end of the current article under that newsletter so that they know what to be prepared for. And
yes,
you're calling it out. So there's a way to drip things to
yes,
your audience that keeps them coming back and wanting more.
yes.
And and that's just newsletters.
I know that's just one. So this is kind of going into, and I like because we can talk about this a lot because this is really important. We just kind of explain why LinkedIn. Now we're going sipping right into how to show up on the platform, and this is just one way, like you said, is the newsletters because I didn't know. I'm glad you mentioned that how you can set the time, you can set when it comes out, consistency. I'm going to say it two more times. Consistency is the key is the
Yeah.
key. And even myself, okay. I mean, I know I tell about visibility, but sometimes I miss the mark too. Sometimes I'm not on the daily, or the weekly, and I can see how it hurts me with that. That's why I tell people if you're going to be on LinkedIn or any other platform, like you said, we're talking about, you got to be consistent so people get the chance to build a relationship, right?
Yeah. Like we said, it's a long game.
Yeah.
You're not here just to see immediate growth and results. Yes, that's possible. Again, like anything is possible. You can completely go viral and blow up. But we want to not be so concerned with those vanity metrics, and we want to focus on the sustainability, the long term, the growth, what will create long term success for you here on this platform. And the important thing with that consistency and sustainability piece is that it's not set in stone. It's not a
Mhm.
set it and forget it platform. You
Mhm.
don't just create your profile once and set these things up once and expect to not come back to it. It takes a little bit of intentionality to show up and engage. So, how do we do that on the platform? Well, one of the first things you need to know is, what are you here for? Yes, we're all under that umbrella of here for business growth and success in some way, shape, or form. Whether you're
Mhm.
job searching, whether you're an entrepreneur looking for more clients, whether you're looking for more speaking opportunities, whether you're building brand awareness, for. We're all here for the basic premise of business growth. But what is your specific goal right now?
Mhm.
I need more clients, or I want more speaking opportunities. I want to build community. I want more collaboration.
Mhm.
Something. Get to know, and maybe you have a few different goals on the platform, but identify what specifically is your priority right now in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, in the next year,
Mhm.
and then adjust accordingly. So you
Yes.
want to first know what your goal is, because if you don't know exactly why you're here and why you're showing up, you're going to be all over the place.
Mm.
It's
That
not
is.
a matter of if, but when. You're gonna end up being all over the place. You're gonna be like called to be over here, but called to be over there, called to be up here, down here, all the places. But if you're intentional about why you're here in this moment, you can stay more focused with reaching your goals. So that's key. That's number one.
Yes. Yes. I
Number
well
two
before.
is optimize your profile for that.
Yes. Yes. Well, before you get to number two, I just want to comment real quickly because
Oh yeah.
you're some golden nuggets here. So one thing, I'm Shell is teaching you. She's an expert. I'm the one that's giving you stuff not to do because Barbara did it and shouldn't have done it. So you're learning.
I've done it too.
You're getting the tips from her, and then you're getting okay. Barbara example what not to do, what Shell said to do. But yeah, being knowing what you're doing. I mean, understanding your purpose on it, and that's one of the reasons that I stood back sometimes, Shell, and said I need to stop the everybody saying get on there, post bar post, get on there. Because people were telling me that. Well, Bar, you need to get in LinkedIn. You got a business, you want to get clients, go LinkedIn. And I'm like, okay, so I just post whatever, Bar Bagley, whatever, video, whatever. And I didn't really have the I didn't strategize. Now this is what I tell my own clients now. You need to strategize why you're getting on there. You just don't just throw yourself on there because somebody said that. Not saying that you should be on the platform, But like you said, think it through. Like you were saying earlier, if you're trying to brand yourself, is it brand awareness? Then put stuff together that's regarding your brand and pick what you're going to do, and then consistently put out little dabs of that. I mean, this is an example. But just throwing out something like that, what you're throwing out, you're going to get back. And that's what happened to me. I threw out stuff. It's like throwing away garbage. I was getting garbage back. I really was. But I wanted to say that concept because how important it is, like you said, is to understand why. What's the why, and what you're doing out there, and then that helps you understand. It helps you with consistency and everything else after that. Because once you pick that part, then the
Yeah.
consistency gets a little bit easier because now you know what target you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, it's okay to fall off sometimes. We said that about the newsletter briefly, but it happens with consistency too. Like when you're just trying to show up day in and day out of like, all right,
Mhm.
how do I stay true to myself and show up in the way that I said was aligned for me right now? We
Mhm.
change on a daily basis, sometimes by the hour.
Mhm.
What I want now, I might get new information and that might start to shift an hour from now. You don't know.
Mhm.
And that's okay on this platform, is to be vulnerable and show that like, hey, I've pivoted, I've made some changes over here.
Mhm.
I did say I wanted this goal, but now it's been tweaked a little bit and I really want that, or this sounds more aligned to me.
Yeah.
And so showing up consistently on this platform looks like just being honest with yourself and not
Mhm.
hiding that from people.
Mhm.
So when I say know what you're here for,
Mhm.
it's not, that's also not set in stone. That can change because the platform changes. So we, of course, need to change with it. And
Mhm.
we change. So our LinkedIn needs to change along with us too. And
Mhm.
it's a symbiotic relationship almost
Mhm.
like one hand feeds the other and then it goes around in a circle and it's
Mhm.
constant growth and evolution here. Um, and as far as like show, once you know your why, once you know what the intention is that you're after,
Mhm.
coming back to optimizing your profile specifically, all right, well, where do I need to put myself? What
Mhm.
things does my audience resonate with?
Mhm.
Where can I find my audience? What hashtags
Mhm.
might they be searching for? What keywords might they be searching for? How can I incorporate this into my profile? How can I follow more of those things, join more of those groups, show up in more of those spaces so
Mhm.
that I'm attracting now the audience that I really want to attract and find and reach that goal?
Yes.
And I see so many people skip those basic steps.
Wow.
They
Wow.
just come on here, they've been successful on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, Twitter, whatever other platform they're on, Pinterest, depending on their goals. And they just jump right into, well, I've already created content for this other platform. It does really well on there, but I know my clients are here and I'm just going to put out the same thing. Well, it's, you can't just rinse and repeat if you haven't spent that intentional time showing up where your audience hangs out.
Mm.
How does your audience even know to come look for you here? Like you can't just expect them to gravitate toward your content. Yeah, that might happen. There's a little bit of magic forces at play sometimes,
Mm.
but if we're intentional about showing up in those spaces specifically,
Mhm.
we know the audience is there. We know that they're going to resonate with that content.
Wow.
So we have to go find it.
Gotta go find it. So, question for you. So, I'm just gonna give just scenario.
Sure.
Um, so, say that you are a nonprofit organization, okay, and you basically are looking for people to either collaborate with you in the nonprofit, like you volunteer, or basically, nonprofit, they are trying to gain money for their nonprofit. So they're looking for maybe companies or organizations that can sponsor the nonprofit. So what would you say? Because now talking about showing up on the platform, what would you kind of one thing would you tell them that what they would need to do for in the LinkedIn world?
Yeah, well, I would say as an if you're a nonprofit looking for sponsors specifically, I would be really clear and make a list perhaps of like what kind of sponsors are you looking for? Where do you want them to come
Mm,
from, a specific area? Are they in a specific industry? Do you want them to support you with a specific thing? um,
mm,
if we reverse engineer it, and you think about events that you've gone to in the past, and maybe, or you've sponsored events in the past, and you've seen somebody's like press kit of like, here's what a sponsorship package looks like,
yeah.
and you'll get this kind of visibility, or you can
Mhm,
give this kind of gift bag and offer this, or you'll be on this card, this poster, the step and repeat banner.
mhm,
They break it down for you what kind of things that they're looking to have visibility on, and then
mhm,
they also give you how they'll support you and give you visibility back, right?
mhm,
So if we think about it from a LinkedIn perspective, what kind of support do you need? And I don't just mean monetarily, because of
mhm,
course if you're a nonprofit and you're looking for donations and sponsors, I know that's a factor in there somewhere. But
mhm,
what do you need the money for? Where is it going to go? Are there specific organizations and foundations, or places that you can look that can offer those specific things? Because it doesn't necessarily need to be monetary. They can offer supplies. They can offer support, like staffing. Like they can offer food. They can. There's so many different ways for people to contribute and sponsor, and you can break it down into that, and that you can search for specifically. Search
mm.
specifically for people who can support you in those areas, not just a blanketed, I'm looking for sponsors.
See, I'm glad. See, that's why I say you're the guru. That's why I'm glad you said that, because a lot of times, and I'm in a nonprofit, and I know another nonprofit that did something similar to what you said. They just put it out there and said, "Okay, I'm this nonprofit, and we need $10,000 by November." And when I seen that, me knowing them, I knew them and knew what they do. So I don't mind giving the money a little bit. But I put myself in the shoes of, okay, if I don't know about your organization, I don't know where money's going, I don't know what you're doing, then I'd hesitate. And I even told me, I said, I'd hesitate with that post because I really don't know who you are. You're not building a relationship with me.
Yeah,
And I think that's something that you're kind of mentioning, like you said, Shell, is that you have to build a relationship before I try to start giving you, the next level. It's just like a relationship, like a man and woman meet. It's like you meet first time. Oh, give me a kiss. Well, wait a minute. We just met and we're having coffee. Now you want to kiss all of a sudden?
you skipped a few steps there.
Yeah, at least a few. And if it's gonna be because maybe, just maybe on the cheek, I don't know. So yeah, so I see, like you said, you have to. What I'm thinking too, when you were talking about, you have to have people understand what you're doing with an organization. Where's the money going? That's what I always ask. That's just okay. That's me, and that could be a lot of other people out there too. It's like, okay, if I'm going to give you $500, just put it out there for your nonprofit. You're putting in LinkedIn. You need 10,000. Well, where's that going to? Is it going, to, like you said, the food, shelter? Are you helping people, women that's in need? I'm just throwing out some examples. So, and let me see what you've been doing. Are you on the grounds doing it? And if you need volunteers, what type of volunteers do you need? So yeah, that would
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, and the other thing, and if we stick with this example of nonprofits looking for supporters and donations and sponsors and things of that nature, um, to you mentioned something about seeing a post and maybe you don't know what it is that they do, or you haven't like seen enough about them in order to feel good about contributing, but you might know them personally, and so that might be the icebreaker, to still want to contribute, and there's nothing wrong with that. As the poster, what I would start to do would be to set up a series of posts that you can drip slowly over time to show people, especially people that are new who might not know you. Especially like if you're going to just put it out there for the world and not be as like specific to, I don't, where the money comes from or the support comes from, and you just want to put it out there to the whole LinkedIn world and your audience. I would start to drip some content over time showing the backstory. How
Yeah.
did this foundation or organization come about? Why is this such a need? Shows any support or like things that you've done in the past and how they helped someone or like what they achieved. I want to see that story. I want to be crying in tears. We've all seen that commercial of
With the,
like donate and it'll save an animal, or like, and you've
mhm,
seen like the mangy dog, or like the cat
mhm.
that's like got fleas all over it, and you're like, your gift of just 5 cents a month, whatever it is, like however small, and you're in the arms of the angel, right? Sarah McLachlan, like
Oh,
you're in tears. I don't necessarily need to be brought fully to tears, although I cry very easily these days. But like, I want to be moved and compelled to contribute to what it is that you're putting out there. So drip that type of content over time and sprinkle it throughout your profile, especially if it's something that's really important to you. The
mhm.
features section,
Mm.
this is another thing that you may want to play around with on your profile. The featured section is not something that's turned on by default. So you have to go in and add that profile
Mhm. That's good to
to your
know.
on things that are important to you. This is an area to highlight. Here are some key things that I'm working on right now. Here are some ways that you can support
Mhm.
me. You could add a call to action, like a donation link, or to book in a quick call. Like, give people the meaty, the juicy, like the ooey gooey things that you want them to know about you right now. What do you have? What are you planting seeds for? What is there for growth? Where do you want to highlight things? This is a great opportunity to add key things for people to know
Mhm.
about you right then and there. And especially because we're sticking with that example of the nonprofit organization looking for sponsorships. If you've got an event coming up, if you're specifically looking for a specific thing,
Mhm.
add in that story, add in that transformation, show people how it has helped and how their support can help.
Yes. Yes.
Show it off.
Show it
Humble
off.
brag. Put off your greatness. People need to see it. I
Yeah.
promise.
Now, what I love, Shell, is I mean, I know I brought up the example of nonprofit, so we can talk through that. But that one example can go for your own business. It can go for any maybe an event that your special event that's popping up that you want to talk about. So that particular example, what we talked about, using the same techniques that Shell said, you can use that for anything else. I just want people to think this locked in just nonprofit, but we just wanted to show an example. So how to show up is going back to what we're talking about, showing up on the platform. Now I didn't even know, Shell. See, here you go again, giving the good stuff. I didn't know that you had to activate the feature set. I thought it was already activated already. So I didn't even know that. So now you know what I need to do. Go back to my LinkedIn and activate that and start moving, start using that. So again, like we said earlier, so many different variables when it comes to LinkedIn that a lot of people I know, because if I'm finding out some stuff, and I've been on there for a while, that you can use to continuously be consistent, show up in certain areas so people can basically, the biggest thing I think is creating that relationship building. I don't care if you're trying to sell something, if it's brand awareness, if it's just something that, your mission in life or whatever, you got to build a relationship, right, Shell? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It comes back to relationship marketing.
Yeah.
Like, do people like, know, and trust you? Have you built that connection with them? And that doesn't mean you need to have everything in common with everybody in your network all the time. But you might have gone to the same school. Maybe you played the same on the, like a similar sport, and you saw that shown off somewhere. Like, maybe you both are in a certain industry doing a certain type of thing. Maybe you've both written books. Maybe you're both speakers. Maybe you both are, running a coaching program. Like, there, you never know what commonalities you can find with people that are relatable, and every little commonality can be the starting point for a conversation that can lead to a collaboration. Every little thing. Yeah, we've done it.
I just had to throw
One,
that out here.
yeah, because Michelle is amazing, and we love her for
Yeah.
connecting us.
Yeah.
Like, you never know who you're gonna meet on this
Mhm.
platform that has 5, 10, even one or two other people that you need to know that are
Mhm.
already in their network that they've built like, know, and trust with that can open doors and opportunities for you. You just don't know until you start showing up.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Now, Shell, I know I wanted just before we wrap up, because I know we're going to do this on another series about the LinkedIn groups. Can you just give us a little tad, just like an intro about it?
Yeah. So we've already talked about how to, like, why, knowing your why, right? And like what you're here on this platform for. We've talked about a few different ways that you can show up and stand out on the platform and how to, we've given some examples of that for sure. Groups offer you an even more intentional way to show up, different than Facebook groups where like you might be in a group and like, for whatever coaching program or visibility or community. um, Groups are specific places to have conversations about topics that you want to have, right? It's not just an engagement pod. I've seen people use it for that in the past. LinkedIn frowns upon doing that kind of strategy and growth, um, because it can get a little bit spammy and not always like really super intentional for people.
Mhm.
But if you're in a group, if you're like, and I do this a lot with job seekers too when I consult with people. If you're like, all right, I want to get a job, I'm looking for an opportunity, I want to connect with more people in wellness spaces. Okay, let's go with that because that's my specialty, is helping people in that area. I want to find more things in wellness spaces. You go look for specific groups that talk about the types of wellness you want to talk about. There are mental health groups. There are PTSD trauma groups, nutrition groups, hormone groups. Like the sky's the limit. Fitness, diet, like all different types of wellness groups out there. Some of them are very like generic and cover all the things and will let anybody, any fitness, health, wellness professional into the group. Others are more targeted for different areas. Play around with those types of groups. And again, this could work for anything that you're interested. I'm just giving the wellness example. And
Wow.
if you think about groups, and we'll dive into this more in another conversation for sure. If you think about, now I've put myself in specific wellness groups or whatever that area is,
Mhm.
where this amount of people and growing, a few hundred at least to a few 100,000, you give yourself a wide range because the number is not really important, but you want to put yourself in front of enough people that you gain some visibility, right?
Yeah.
Now you've surrounded yourself by however many other people that are there for that exact same reason. And you can connect with people inside that group. You can engage in more targeted conversations in that group, comment on people's posts, and now you've got the attention of an audience that is specifically there for that. Yes, you can
Mhm.
absolutely have other conversations by commenting on people's posts and engaging in the DMs and do that more individually.
Mhm.
And but it then you, even no matter how much you've curated your home feed to be the things that you like, and I play LinkedIn roulette, and 9 times out of 10 I can find something that I resonate with because I've curated my feed that way.
Yes.
And that's still not as intentional as me going into a group specifically for that one thing and having conversations with people in that area,
Wow.
because my feed might cover a few different areas that take me in different directions because I'm
Mm.
multifaceted and I like a bunch of things. But if I'm like, all right, today I'm going to go find nutrition people. All right, where's the nutrition group? I'm going to talk to a bunch of nutrition people over here.
Yes. Wow.
So you can get really, really, really specific really fast.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, I love. See, I can't wait to get this a little bit, dab a little bit deeper into that in our next edition, because that is, again, first of all, I'm just thinking, just while you were talking of how you can get your niche, you can get it really niched into, like you said, wellness to nutrition to even, you can talk about, even get more detail with nutrition and talk to people within that group to learn from others
Yeah.
for one thing. And then they learn about you too. And then, like you see, you never know what's that going to create, what kind of opportunities that will come from just being in those groups and having those talks. and having those conversations. I like that.
Yeah,
I
and
like
I
it.
think one important thing about groups is that people a lot of people tend to not use them or post in them or are active in them, and that's okay because you know that the people that are then showing up in them who do come back regularly, you know that those are probably more likely to be your people
Mm,
because they
makes
are showing up. For the few that are there, if you could join a group and there's hundreds of thousands of people in that group, and maybe like the same 5-10 people are the ones that are posting in that group.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now you know who wants to be there and who just joined it.
Yes,
And
yeah.
either way, you're putting yourself around people who want to be in that space, but not everybody knows to come back. Not everybody's got that consistency factor down. Not everybody knows what cadence. Yeah, cadence is a good word. What cadence works for them when it comes to showing up consistently. And
Wow.
so, yeah, people have the intention to join the group. That's only the first part of it. You can
Mhm.
be intentional, you can join the group, but to go back and actually show up in it and like see who else keeps showing up,
Yeah.
that takes some dedication and time, and that's how you know like when you've met the right people.
Woo, I can't wait. Okay, we're gonna stop right here because I don't want to give no more goodies for the group, the LinkedIn group. But I know, just summarizing, understanding why LinkedIn is so important. Shell has really laid it out for you, me, the world right now, of understanding what LinkedIn, why, the why of LinkedIn, and how to show up on the platforms, and even to take it a step further, because like I said, we gel together because I really look at the visibility of people, not just on one platform, but I look at all different platforms because everybody might not want, like she said, TikTok or threads or whatever, because people saying to go on there. You have to understand your business. You have to understand what your why is. And then you show up in that area once you figure that out. So if it is the flavor of LinkedIn, and that's something that we talked about, is building your network for businesses, understanding people, getting to build those relationships, branding awareness, a whole lot that we're going to be talking about in the other editions of our show. Really look into that and start writing down. I hope you've been taking notes today of how you need to show up. And then LinkedIn groups, another tool within LinkedIn that will help you out. So Shell, thank you so much, lady. I'm loving the partnership we have, and I look forward to our next edition show to let everybody know some other facts that we talk about LinkedIn. We're going to get more into that. So basically, just to let everybody know, we're going to be talking about LinkedIn, but we're going to be talking about a lot of other facets about, just gaining your visibility, just understanding why it's so important. Visibility can be is very broad. So we want to make sure that we take some of that teaching of visibility and give you some teachable moments, as we call it.
Yeah.
Teachable
And
moments in there.
we've already dropped some nuggets and gems for you to go try and implement onto your LinkedIn experience now. So we'll be coming back with more gems for sure.
Yes, yes, yes. So with that said, we will see you at the next time on the Visibility Corner with myself, Barbara J. Beckley, and wonderful Shell Shapiro. And we will be back. And we wish you all well. And always remember, people will not know you unless you show up, you shine, and you become visible. Take care.